Oh, Brady, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. They really suck. No explanation needed. The Commanders just straight up suck. I almost feel sorry for those guys. And we can beat them almost 3 times every year. Almost every year. They suck. When I think about how bad it is for the Giants, I can just think about like how it is for the Commanders, and it automatically just lifts my spirits, huh? The Commanders, they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, including my buddy Randy here, I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Hey, anybody got anything to say? Please feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box. Yeah, give me 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So once again, please feel free. Fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. The description box below, the very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, once again, thank you. If you are subscribing to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed, thank you. Maybe you give this video a thumbs up or share it. That'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, it's a Twitter link. I'm an old-time fart, can't stand change, right? Get off my lawn! I'm one of them old-time farts, right? Yeah, it's always been Twitter to me, and it'll always be Twitter to me. Always. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. You follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I put Giants-related stuff on my Twitter account every day. And then the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That's very original, I know. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. With all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, it's even, nice, I don't know what it was. Not that Shane was like bashing or nothing like that, but I mean, it's nice to hear, something other than like the generic answers. I mean, you get, that you ask and you get these generic answers that you kind of, could write yourself. They don't want, especially like Dable, who doesn't like giving a lot of details and answers and stuff like that, which I understand, because sometimes if he throws one extra word in there, it opens up a can of worms and all the media runs with it. Dable said this, so that means that your Giants are going to, it's no, it doesn't mean, where Dable blinked his eyes 3 times before he said that. I mean, he's got to be, that means this. I mean, that means they're drafting the court. Now it doesn't, But it's nice sometimes, when like somebody, right, says things other than like the generic answers. Like when the guys were talking about, or Shane was answering a question talking about like Evan Neal, right? I mean, they said, whether he really meant it or not, whatever, but they were talking about, what do you think about Evan Neal, being the right tackle? Is he still the right, and Shane, brought up something along the lines of, oh yeah, he's, we anticipate him still being the right tackle. And then they said, why do you think that? And he said something like along the lines of like, why, look at the tape from Alabama. You can also look at the tape from Alabama. I think it was his first year there when he was playing guard, and he did pretty good. I mean, first year, he, in the big boy leagues, in the big SEC, he was playing guard. Excuse me. I guess I should try to clear my throat before I come on, huh? That would make more sense. But, when you look at Evan Neal's PFF grades, that's all I'm going by, right? He did pretty good his first season at guard at Alabama, right? But Shane was talking about, you look at his tape at Alabama, he did a decent job. And which obviously, he better have since we picked him number 7, right? But it was also nice hearing Shane was mentioning something like, he's got to play better, So, that was nice to hear that. But then also, you hear this too, in this article, which I'm going to kind of go over here, talking about like the offensive line. I got to pop it up here. I got 32,000 tabs open here. Giants, Joe Schoen on the poor offensive line play, right? You can't even run a play, and of course, here we go. Here's from week 1, right? Daniel Jones getting sacked one of the 312 times he got sacked against the Cowboys as we were getting pummeled 42,000 to nothing. Good game there in the rain. Oh yeah, great way to start the season, huh? But speaking of starting the season, right? I just saw this. It might be the only time I'm actually voting for, I'm not voting for, cheering for, or hoping Xavier McKinney does well this season. The Eagles, Packers, apparently they're opening. I was hearing like it might be the Browns and the Eagles might be in Brazil, but apparently week 1 is Friday night. So that's cool. I like that. That's cool. We got Thursday night football. We got Friday night football. We got Sunday night football. Hey, we even got Monday night football. What a concept. I know. But so we're going to have 4 out of the first 5 nights. We're going to have football on. And we might even have some Sunday day games too. Check that out. What a concept, huh? But that I'll tell you what, that might be a real good game in Brazil. Real good game. But that might be the only time I'm cheering for Xavier McKinney this whole year. Let's hope that Mr. Show Me the Money. I'm the greatest person. I'm the greatest player of all time. I am him. Let's hope that he does well against the Eagles. I'll be cheering for him because I can't stand the Eagles. But all right, here we go. Joe Schoen. The New York Giants surrendered 85 sacks in 2023, the second worst number in NFL history. But also, just to show you how absolutely, unbelievably, ungodly, freaking pathetic the Eagles line was in 86. They gave up, I think it was 104 sacks. So they gave up 19 more sacks than the Giants did last season, and they did it in one less game. Holy, could you imagine if they had 17 games? Easily would have been 110 sacks. Easily. Right? So if they're both 17 game schedules, the Eagles, 86 Eagles probably would have gave up 110 sacks. Could you imagine giving up even 104 sacks? I couldn't imagine. But as unbelievably, ungodly, pathetic as the Giants' offensive line was last season, could you imagine how bad that 86 Eagles line must have been? I think Lawrence Taylor had like 99 of those sacks. It was just, whew. And of course, this somebody wrote a report on this, and I went over this. This was a few nights ago. Many of those came through the interior, where the guard and center combination allowed more sacks than the entire 5-man units of 20 other teams. So just the Giants' guards and center gave up more sacks than 20 other teams did. Their entire 5-man unit. I mean, tackle from tackle. I mean, just unbelievable. All three of the team's quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, and Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, suffered injuries as a result of the porous offensive line. It was almost embarrassing. Almost? You think? Almost? I mean, you can't even pick up a stunt? I mean, it was like, almost? Really? Are you serious? You're dishing out. You got guys are supposed to be coaching this stuff up, and you're paying out all this money and stuff like that, and you guys came and pick up a stunt. That's almost embarrassing. No, I think that checks the embarrassing box off. Yeah, no, that was check. That was embarrassing. That was a joke. That was pathetic. That was absolute pure trash. Pure trash. The offensive line was last season. Not saying the guys didn't try. I'm not saying they didn't have pride. Not saying this. Yeah, the way they performed, it was pure trash last season. Second most sacks surrendered in NFL history in a season. Absolute trash. And it made it nearly impossible to get a feel for what Jones was capable of. You're facing a Micah Parsons. We played San Francisco last year on a short week, and you're facing that D-line. Those are real problems, Shane told Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. You've got to face those guys. The ability to get after the quarterback and protect the quarterback is where it all starts. It all starts in the trenches. Absolutely. To get those premium positions, you have to be picking high or pay premium to go out and get them as you're building it. It was almost embarrassing the way we played on offensive line. You can't run a play. You really can't get a true feel for Daniel when he's on his back every play. That's embarrassing. That's definitely a concerted effort to upgrade the trenches. Giants fans may not want to hear it, but that's the reality. And it's why Shane spent the early parts of free agency addressing the line, signing the likes of Jermaine E. Luminor, John Runyon, and others. It's also why Shane is more open to selecting a non-quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft that many assume. Needs are abundant, and no rookie quarterback is going to. No, I mean, you're going to probably kill the quarterback if you don't fix some of those problems. No rookie quarterback. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Ain't no quarterback. I mean, if the quarterback can't drop back, take 2 steps back without having 37 guys on top of him, there's no quarterback in the history of the NFL can do anything, right? Once again, we have a lot of holes, and I said I'd be rather shocked if the Giants don't try to take a. I said the only thing that, and this is we don't know, nobody knows. Mel Kiper don't know. The Lucky Charms leprechaun doesn't know. Jesus Christ doesn't know, and Santa Claus doesn't know. Santa Claus got his list, checking off who's naughty and nice. He's looking at all the guys and all that stuff. And everything. He don't even know. Nobody knows what Shane and Dave were thinking, right? If they think there's somebody there, right? I don't know if they can possibly trade up with the Commanders, but when pick number 3 rolls around, if whatever, say May is there, and they love May, right? If they think he can change the course of if Dable thinks if I get my hands on this guy, right, he's got a few issues, but I think we can work him out. I think this guy can be something really special. Then they might just jump up because obviously there's 2 ways of looking at everything. You know what I mean? Right? There's one. Let's build the team. And this is huge. This is really huge. And this is something the Giants are, kind of close. I mean, I'm saying this season and next season. Okay. Let's get this draft in. Next year's draft in. We should have some money to spend, especially, if Waller doesn't come back, or we let Daniel Jones go, or, we'll save some more money. So in free agency next year, we should be able to add another piece or two to the puzzle, fill in another hole or two with some nice guys. We should have a little bit of money to spend. Let's get a couple good premium picks next season, a couple good premium picks this season, and a couple good guys in we need I'm just saying we need somebody on the D line, right? We need a cornerback and maybe some help at safety, right? I'm just going to say like maybe 3 guys on the offense and on defense, right? I don't know what we need as far as offensive line because, we got a new coach. We brought 300 new free agents in. Let's see how they work out and gel and all that, right? Where's Evan Neal going to go? Is Evan Neal, can he stay healthy? Is he going to want to be in a guard? Is he going to stay out of tackle? Is Illuminor going to be, you don't know. But we are going to need a receiving tight end, a receiving threat of a tight end. Okay. We need a wide receiver. We need a dog of a wide receiver. You can say we can upgrade the running back, but that's something. You can do that in the 4th round, the 5th round of this draft and next year's draft. So I'm not even worried about it. We could probably, obviously, if they think that we're going to need a quarterback, draft a quarterback. So I'm saying, so if you want a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, right? Defensive line, cornerback, and a safety. So we need like 6 to start with, just for me, right? And then you can always use an edge rusher or something like that. But I mean, I'm just saying, in the first 2 picks this season, first 2 picks next season, and then in the draft, in the free agency next season, right? You should be able to fill. You could quite possibly fill those holes. And then you got the 3rd round picks. You can bring in another cornerback. You can bring in another edge rusher or something. Right? But I'm saying, but between this season with the draft, next year's free agency, next year's draft, we should have a decent job, filling a majority of the holes that we have. But the thing is if you build the team, right, and you have a decent team, as I said, running back by committee, right? But if we get that a good receiving threat of a tight end, I'm not saying we're going to get a Skittles man, or Kittles or Kelsey or God or nothing like. But get a decent receiving tight end, right? We got a bunch of blocking tight ends, but then if you can get yourself a dog of a wide receiver, like that pick 6, right? So then you start work on a little bit more on the defense, right? Then you got yourself a team. Then you take a rookie quarterback, right? Even if he's got to sit for a season, right? Year 2, you bring him in. Even if you say a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick, you only got him for 4 years, but you put him in, bring him in year 2, right? He's got a team around him, right? So now you're going to get the best out of him, especially if he sits for a season. He learns, watches, he learns, right? And you keep building the team around. So when he does go onto the field, and runs onto the field, for the first time ever, take the snaps and everything. For his first time, he gets to call Omaha, right? He'll have a team around him. So that's one way, right? The other one is, what we're kind of talking about is that you can draft a quarterback, but if your offensive line, if you don't have a team around or something like that, it doesn't matter. You can have Jesus Christ out there. It ain't going to help. He ain't going to complete a pass, right? One thing is you want to look at, though, too, is also, if between Shane and Dable and, some of the other guys like the assistant GM and, we got a few guys and, they're all in. They think this one quarterback they think is the guy, right? Whatever. Could be Penix, right? Could be the Rattle Man, right? The Rattler, right? Could be Knicks, right? If they think one, take one of these guys in the second round or something, whatever like that. They think, especially Dable. He's like, I think if I get my hands on this guy, I think we could have something. That's when that's when you push the chips in the middle of the table and you get your quarterback, because to be able to be in a position to get to draft the position that is the hardest to play in all sports, right? And when you see a chance, you got to take it, right? Because you can also try to build a team and keep building the team and building, and then you're waiting for that opportunity to grab a quarterback, and maybe it doesn't fall your way. Maybe in next year's draft, say there might be 3 guys you like. Well, what if they all get taken in front of you? Right? Right? And then say in the 2026 draft, you keep building the team, right? And there's 2 guys you like. Well, what if you draft in 20th and they both get taken 1, 2? So, it doesn't mean you can't draft somebody in the second round who won't be any good, or in the third round, but if you see a chance, if you got the conviction, you and, some of the guys up front, as I said, like, especially Dable and Shane, right? If they see a guy, right, they think they could work with, right, who might make the difference for the next 10, 12, 15, whatever for the Giants, if they got an opportunity, go grab the guy, right, instead of waiting around. So, but it's going to be interesting, very, very interesting. But let's see here. As I said, this goes to show you how unbelievably horrible the Giants were last season, right? It's with PFF here, right? So we got the pass blocking grade, right? Pass blocking grade. The Eagles are number 1, 77. Obviously, without question, they have one of the best offensive line. They have quite possibly the best offensive line coach in football, right? And when he retires or leaves or whatever, he'll be sorely missed. But he's a very, very good offensive line coach. But all right. The Ravens, very good. The Falcons, they have a very good offensive line coach. Hard to believe in the Broncos, as bad as their passing game was, they didn't score a lot of points. Did not score a lot of points. But the Colts, the Chiefs, right? So the Chiefs, obviously, I think they went to the Super Bowl, right? So their pass blocking was very, very good, right? But of course, who was last as far as PFF? Pass blocking grade. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my God. Look at this. New York Giants. We were last. Pass block grade of a 43.4. Oh, my God. 43.4. New York Giants. Dead last. Way to go. Then we got the run blocking grade here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Run blocking grade. 49ers are number 1. I think they went to the Super Bowl, didn't they? Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, look at that. Good offensive line play. Gives your offense a chance. What a concept, huh? Once again, the Eagles are up there. The Lions are up there, right? Same thing with the Broncos. It's amazing. The Broncos, their offensive line play was very, very good. They had a hard time scoring points. Ravens, once again, they're up there. The Falcons, that they have very good offensive line as well. So, but let's see where we got. The Giants weren't last, but they were 30th, 41.1. So they had 43.4 and a 41.1. Absolutely total trash. Absolute trash. All right, and we got here. The Giants 2024 offensive line. Is it going to be okay? I like this picture because you got Jermaine Luminor and you got Carmen Basil in the background there. Jermaine, he says he for his last name, he wants you to enunciate the E, right? Right. It's not Illuminor or nothing like that. It's Luminor. So. Is the Giants line going to be okay? The $64 million question. It's been a long time since the New York Giants offensive line was one of the best in the NFL. Yeah, I think Abraham Lincoln was the president at the time. All but the youngest fans remember the early Eli Manning years when the line was the engine behind a devastating run game and usually gave Eli Manning enough time to get the ball to his receivers downfield. Past decade, though, it has been nothing short of a disaster, with 3 different Giants general managers not having yet cracked the code of what it takes to provide decent protection with Giants quarterbacks. Now, I mean, it just, one reason or another, stuff didn't work out. Now, I'm certainly not going to say Jerry Reese didn't try. It wasn't like, Jerry, our offensive line stinks. Really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not worried about it. I mean, he tried. Dave Gettleman, he tried. He brought in I'm going to Dan Dierdorf you for a second here. He brought in a plethora of guys. He brought in a bunch, whole lot, you might say. This stuff didn't work out. So now we're on the Joe Schoen trail here, and let's hope that the guys he's bringing in, because he brought in a bunch of guys. Once again, just because you're bringing a whole bunch of guys does not mean it's going to make the gumbo taste any better, right? So you gotta show me the money, right? You gotta show me the product. Yeah, how's it going to be on the field? But at least we have a new offensive line coach, and maybe this offensive line can pick up a stunt. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Right? That would be nice, because we couldn't pick up a stunt last year. I have no idea how you can go 17 games and not pick up a stunt all year. It was just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. I still never forget. There was I didn't even nope. I got to share my screen. I've got to share my screen. But I still never forget. Right? There was a couple pictures that I saw on in Facebook groups that I've joined. I'm part of like 30. Well, I've joined 30 different groups. So a couple of them had pictures of, I think it was Marcus McKeithen, right? One of them was I forgot. I think it was a passing play, right? And I know. Like he was facing the Giants' backfield. The offensive line was behind him, right? The play, right? I don't remember who the quarterback was. I think it was a quarterback trying to stand in the pocket, and McKeithen was like facing the quarterback. There was nobody around him, no defensive player, nothing around him. Somehow McKeithen got turned around, facing the Giants' back and going like this. I don't know who he was blocking. But it's like, are you kidding me? Then there was another one. It might have been him too. It was just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, hold on. I forgot to share my screen here. Hold on. There we go. All right, let me go show you here. Once again, the PFF. Pass blocking. Pass blocking. The Giants down at number 1, 43. I'm sorry. We're the worst. 43.4. Giants pass blocking grade. 43.4. Then I go to the run blocking grade. The Giants weren't number 32, but they were number 30. 41.1. So basically between their pass blocking and their run blocking, they averaged that like a 42. Unbelievable. We're the best of the best averaged like about a 70 or an 80. The Giants were down, averaging like a 40. Unbelievable. Absolutely just total trash. Absolute 100% trash. All right. Is that about to change? Each season, Ben Bowen, creator of the great RBSDM website that provides a variety of stats for NFL team performance, predicts the performance of each team's offensive line for the upcoming season. His predictions are about as objective as it is possible for offensive linemen. They're based on projected starters at each position from our lads combined with Pro Football Focus pass blocking grades for those players from the previous season. The Ourlads projection themselves are a bit subjective since they are based on someone's assumption of who the starters will be. Here, for example, is the current Giants, the depth chart. Right? I'm not sure. He's got Stinney. He's got Illuminor, Runyon. He's got, where's Evan Neal at? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where Evan Neal's at. So he's got Evan Neal as a backup. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Michael Schmitz at center, though for different reasons. High quality in Thomas' case and a leash of at least one more season for Schmitz. For a leash, one more season. Who had a somewhat disappointing rookie season. John Runyon is a projected starter at guard, which makes sense for a player who signed a $10 million a year free agent contract. But our lads has him at right guard rather than left guard. That's because the Giants' other free agent offensive lineman, Jermaine Illuminor, is penciled in at right tackle rather than right guard. And Evan Neal is relegated to the bench. Well, okay, that's what your assumption is. But you know what it is when you assume, and you assume wrong. So don't. I ain't putting Evan Neal on the bench. I can tell you that much. I'm not sure what they're smoking here, but Evan Neal's not going to be on the bench unless he's incapable of playing, meaning coming back from his injury. Then that's quite possible. But he's either going to be quite possibly tackle or guard. So the Giants surely plan to give Neal one more shot at right tackle, but not a long one. If Illuminor prevails for the right tackle job, Neal may be pushed inside to right guard. Yeah. Runyon in that case, or left guard, because I think that's where Neal played. I think that's where Neal played at in college. Oh, let's take a gander, shall we? All right, let's go here. All right, let's see now here. I go by team position, by player. There we go. And our player, Evan Neal. Bam. Okay, we got that. We're going to go NCAA. We're going to go back a couple of years. And we'll look at 2019. Go blocking. All right, but we're going to let's go to 2019. He was guard. He was a left guard. See? Left guard. And he's 71.2. Right? His first season in the big boy leagues. Right? 71.2. 70 and a 70. Right? Run blocking, pass blocking. Right? He was certainly, obviously, without question, at tackle, he graded better. 83.7, 85.8. Right? But he didn't do too bad at guard. And this is coming from high school, plugging him in, basically, I guess, as I don't know if he was a redshirt freshman, it was whatever, I don't know. But his first year in the big boy league, right, with Bama, going up against, who did he go? Let's see, he went against Michigan, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, right? Duke. Let's say he didn't play Georgia, right? But some big boy games right here, right? So he graded out a 71 at guard. So didn't do too bad. Didn't do too bad at all. Let's see here. As free agent Aaron Stinney at left guard. They don't state their reasoning, but it seems to be who are the best three offensive linemen at these positions based on past performance. Okay. But I'd have a hard, they drafted Evan Neal at number 7. They have visions of him being a starter, right? I think they're going to give him a nice long leash this season because he's had a lot of injuries, Right now, whether it's a tackle or inside a guard, I think they're going to give him a nice leash this season to see if he can come back from his injuries, see if Carmen Bacillus could start getting him to perform better. So I think, whether it's a tackle or guard, I think he's going to be, he'll be in there quite a bit, as long as he stays healthy, of course. PFF grades are subjective since they are based on an analysis, watching tape rather than objective stats. It's probably not too difficult most of the time, though, to decide whether an offensive lineman has won his block or lost it on a given play, which is what the grade is based on. 2023, the Giants ranked last in pass blocking as a team in PFF eyes. Yep, I can't argue with that. With the lowest team grade in PFF's 2-decade history. Wow. That's horrible. I don't know many people who would take issue with that assessment. Nope, not me. Not at all. In any case, Baldwin takes that information and handles it completely objectively on his end. At each offensive line position, he ranks the projected starters based on their previous season's PFF pass blocking grade and reports the percentile for each player. The results for all 5 positions are combined, with, if memory serves me, tackles being weighted higher than guards, who are weighted higher than centers, to produce overall team offensive line rankings. Here are the projections for 2024, which is right here. Right? Yeah. Now, I don't quite understand this. I'm a little lost on this one here. So apparently, according to him, the Giants are going to be like 13th pass protection. But I don't quite understand this 9 here. I don't know. I don't understand that. I'm a little lost here. I mean, I can see a 94, right? Andrew Thomas, I guess the guards might be good or something like that. But they said that they ranks the guards grades higher than or the tackles grades higher than the guards, and the guards grade is higher than it. But I don't understand Michael Schmidt's getting a 9. That I'm a little lost on. You got guys here with a 99 and 86 and 85, and we got our second round center getting graded as a 9. I don't know. Same thing here, 9. I don't understand that. The single digits. The Chiefs center is a 96. I don't understand. Got me. But I mean, if this is true, he's got the Giants, the 13th ranked pass protection. Cool. All right. Sign me up for that. Yes, your New York Football Giants are projected to be in the upper half of the NFL. Not by much, but still, in pass blocking for the upcoming season. There are a few things to be said in the pump your brakes category about the projection. Aha. As the mutual fund folks like to tell us, past performance is not an indicator of future returns. Yep. So take the PFF grades that determine the percentiles with a grain of salt. The chart is pre-draft. Baldwin usually redoes it once teams have drafted and there are new projected starters for at least some teams. So this may look different by August. And our lads has projected Neal as the starter at right tackle. The Giants' ranking would have been lower. What is true, though, is that some Giants fans may be underestimating Illuminor, who had a pretty good season in 2023. What Illuminor was with Priscilla, right? Preseason rankings of anything cannot anticipate injuries. Absolutely. The single biggest reason for the Giants' O-line problem last season was Andrew Thomas, 94 percentile pass blocking, missed half the season with his hamstring injury. The effect of replacing Bobby Johnson with Carmen Bacilla does not enter the calculations, though. It is feasible that Neal and John Michael Schmitz may improve under his tutelage. Remember 2020 versus 2021 for Andrew Thomas. A lot of it's got to do with coaching. A lot. Not all. A lot, though. Still, just seeing the Giants in the left column is exciting. You got that freaking right, brother. Let me tell you. That being said, any preseason predictions plus $2.90 will get you a ride on the subway. Did Baldwin's framework anticipate that the Giants' offensive line might have problems in 2023? Here is his projections from July of last year. For rookies like John Michael Schmitz, he uses historical data for rookie PFF grades as a function of draft position to estimate where they might rank at that position. So this is, oh, there we go. There we go. Here we go. This is last season. I guess he had the Giants, I guess, last season as the worst. And they were the worst, without question, right? I mean, whoever the left guard was supposed to be, whoever they had him penciled in as starting guard, I don't know if that was Lemieux or Zudu or McKeithen. I guess we got Glowinski over here. We got Michael Schmitz. They gave him a 38. 14. They gave Neal a 14. Wow. What we got? Don't say he didn't warn us. He had the Giants last in the NFL in 2023 pass blocking in July, well before any games had been played, with only Thomas and Glowinski being at least adequate. Thomas went down in game one. Glowinski was banished to the bench after a terrible game one, and the rest is unpleasant history. A couple of other points can be made by looking at other teams. Fans would like the Giants to field 5 Pro Bowlers on the line, aside from the fact that you could never pay 5 players of that caliber once their rookie contracts were up. It's just not feasible to expect to find 5 players who are very good at pass blocking. It's one of the hardest things to do in the NFL. In Baldwin's 2024 projection, you have number 1s and 2, Detroit and Green Bay, with the closest thing to an ideal line, and a few other teams with every starter of at least above average, and that's it. Most teams have at least 1 weak position, and many have 2 or more. This isn't the NFC East you're used to. Dallas, which has historically had an auspicious offensive line, has fallen on hard times. Number 28. Right guard and left tackle are very solid with Zach Martin and Tyler Smith, but center and right tackle are big issues with projected starters Brock Hoffman and Terrence Steele. The left side of the Philadelphia offensive line is in good hands with Malata and Landon Dickinson, plus the excellent Lane Johnson at right tackle, and they still rank number 2. The right interior, though, is soft underbelly with Jason Kelsey no longer there to neutralize Dexter Lawrence and untested Cam Jurgens in his place. With also untested Tyler Steen next to him, the tush push may get pushed out of the game plan in 2024. Washington, number 26, is impressive inside, but very vulnerable on the edges with Daniels at left tackle and Wiley at right tackle. So that's it. So, I mean, what they're projecting anyways, that the Giants this season might have a good offensive line. Might pass blocking. We'll have to wait and see. But also it doesn't take into effect the account of the coaching change. Okay. And once again, coaching is huge. Absolutely huge. If you gave the Eagles, right, Bobby Johnson, and I can never remember the guy's name, but if we took the Eagles offensive line coach, right? I want to give the guy credit here. I can't stand the Eagles, but Eagles offensive line coach. Bam. Stoutland, Jeff Stoutland. This guy, good. Very, very good. How old is he? He enters his 12th season as the team's offensive line coach and one of the most impressive streaks in sports history. Stoutland has coached at least 1 Pro Bowl selection in each of his first 11 seasons in Philadelphia. Yep. He was born in 1962, so he's a little older than me. So he's 62 years old. I'm just kind of wondering when he's going to retire. But he's very, very, very good. He is very good. But if you gave Bobby Johnson to the Eagles and we took Stoutland, things might be reversed. Right? I mean, the Eagles have some very good play. Don't get me wrong, without question. But a lot of it is coaching. And that's why the Eagles' offensive line has been very, very good for a long time. Right? The Cowboys' line has been very, very good for a while too, but they've also had some very, very good players too, with Smith, right? Fredrickson, right? Martin. They've had some very good drafts, right? But with the Eagles, they've had some good. They drafted some good guys too, but they took the the one guy, Milano, whatever it was, he was like a rugby player or something. Now he's one of the best tackles in football. Why? Well, a lot of it has to do with coaching. Jeff Stoutland, outstanding coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So coaching has a lot to do with it. I'm not saying that Priscilla is going to make us the best line in football or nothing, but, if Priscilla did what he did with the Raiders last season, I think he should help the Giants quite a bit this season. Coaching, offensive line coach is huge. So, once again, I'm not expecting us to be the best offensive line in football, without question. No way. But should we see some improvement? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next, then we got, I love this. Darren Waller is going to take his time for making retirement decision. I understand, it's a big thing, and you don't want to retire. I get it, right? Because once you retire, you hang them up. That's it. You're only allowed to or be lucky to play football for so long, right? So once you say no mas. I mean, some guys have come out of retirement, but usually once you say no mas, that means you're done. And to be able to play NFL football, and then when it comes time for you to just say no more, and meaning you'll never play professional football ever again, that's not an easy decision, and I get it. But he's been thinking about it for a while. Right. And it would be really nice if we had, got some type of answer. Right. But also, as I've said this before, what Howard Cross said, if you're thinking about retiring, you're retired. Right. It's kind of mull it around. Let me think, what I mean? Unless what he's trying to do, is try to get out of a training camp or something like that. Right. But as we see here, he's definitely going to try to want to give the Giants before the summer break, right? So one way or the other, if he does, whatever his decision is, if he is going to play, he'll be in there for training camp, right, in July and all that, right? But Giants tight end Darren Waller said in March he would decide pretty soon on his future. A month later, Waller now says he will take his time before deciding whether to retire. I have to make a decision at some point, Waller told Victor Four of The Athletic. You have to be 100% bought in for the grind. And I have to make sure I am bringing that to the table or it's a disservice to the guys. Which is absolutely true. Absolutely 100% true. Couldn't agree with the guy more. I also want to give the team time where whichever way I go, they can prepare for next season. He means next season. Does he mean the 2024 season or 2025 season? Because the thing is like, free agency's kind of come and gone, right? I mean, there's still some guys out there, but, he's not going to let them know in the draft, right? So, say if somehow the Giants trade back a few spots and Brock Bowers is there, what do the Giants do? Do they pull the trigger on the Brock Bowers and bring him in? And now they got Bellinger, Brock Bowers, and Waller, possibly for the season. Why we don't need that? We don't need that many guys, right? Why did we draft Brock Bowers, who we want on the field, and then we're going to be paying Darren Waller, like if he's going to decide to play? Why are we going to pay him? I don't know what 11, 12, 13, 14 million this season when we just drafted Brock Bowers. Why don't right? Or if a good tight end falls to him in the third round, why would they want to draft one in the third round if Waller's coming back? But if they don't know, then they draft somebody who they want to have on the field. But then Waller says he's coming back. Well, now we got to put this guy on the field. We don't want him sitting on the bench making 15 million, 14, 13, whatever it is this season. And we just drafted some guy. It's like, what the, let's see. And I also want to give the team time. So it's a little bit of a difficult decision, but here we are. The Giants presumably would love to know by the NFL draft. Yeah. Whether Waller is planning to play a second season in New York. That would be ideal, but I also don't want to put that on myself. That would be uncomfortable for me. I don't want to. Well, it's kind of uncomfortable for the team. They're trying to build for get ready for a upcoming season, especially free agencies here. You got the draft. They want to know. Are you going to play? Do we need a tight end? What's going on? I want to take my time. It's got to be before summer break for sure. The Giants break for summer on June 12th. Waller did not indicate whether he will participate in the voluntary off-season program, which begins on Monday. He has missed 19 games the past 3 seasons, so basically every year he missed 6 games. And it'll be the same thing this season if he does. I mean, you can basically almost bank on missing close to a third of the season, probably. Waller spent his offseason working out in Las Vegas with prospects Cade Stover and Sanders while catching passes from Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Oh, cool. Giants covered their bases by signing. They didn't cover their bases. They brought in 2 blocking tight ends. I mean, what is, I don't know. I mean, we brought in, Waller's not a blocking tight end. All right. The Giants could wear new uniform, alternate uniforms in 2024. So maybe something a little bit different. Giants have worn the alternate legacy uniforms twice per season since 2022. Each time they have also decorated MetLife Stadium with a touch of nostalgia, including wraparounds and logos to match the aesthetics from 1980 to 1999, which I think were done very, very well. The uniforms, obviously, spot on. The aesthetics, the wraparound, all that stuff, the logos, spot on. They did a fantastic job, I think. The uniforms have not only been a big hit with the fans, but the players as well. I want to be proud of the legacy. I want to be proud of the history and the tradition here. The uniform definitely alerts you of a little bit more to the focus of the tradition and the types of players that were here before. Now, the thing is that, see, those uniforms they were wearing, those were the actual uniforms, kind of like, that the Giants wore during that time. That's when they won their first 2 Super Bowls. Those were kind of like the uniforms that they wore. But kind of what you're talking about here, okay, so I'm going to say, so, when they were putting those uniforms on, those were from the guys. That was the Parcells and Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms, all that. That was from back then when the Super Bowls and all. So that, that brings you right back. I mean, not so much the players, but us fans, that brings you back. But they're talking about like maybe a different type of something that the Giants have never worn before. So. Will those legacy uniforms return in 2024? Perhaps, but fans might also get a little something different. So I'm saying, so if you take those uniforms and you change them around a little bit, that doesn't necessarily bring you back to that time. It does, but it doesn't. Giants are rumored to be among a handful of teams that have requested approval from the league to wear new alternate helmets next season. So, I mean, you see some of this right here, like maybe a red helmet. Add the Giants to the list of teams that requested a new alternate helmet per source. Not sure of specifics yet. It could be small, color adjustment, stripe change, or a whole new look. So the list is right here. These are the teams that requested a new alternate helmet. The Ravens, Jaguars, Packers, Vikings, Jets, Texans, Lions, Broncos, and Giants. Official NFL uniform tells over 4 announced new uniform sets: Lions, Broncos, Jets, and Texans. 1 expected a new face mask would be the Browns. 2 not coming this offseason. Okay, Titans and Seahawks. 4 expected a new alternate helmets: Ravens, Vikings, Jaguars, Packers. Confirmed via source, not official. So. Giants were very specific and meticulous with their legacy uniforms over the previous 2 seasons, so any change could indicate something entirely new is on the horizon. Perhaps we see the return of their red uniforms, which have drawn mixed views for the Giant fans over the years. Some love it while others hate it. Another potential alternate is the I like this, what we call the double NY uniform, or they call them like the discotheque, that funky NY that they had when the 1975 when they moved into Shea Stadium for the 1 year, and they played split the time at Shea Stadium with the Jets. It certainly is a unique look, but not exactly a callback or memorable teams. None of the other went 5-9 that season. Their offense was absolutely unfreaking godly horrible. Or as Zach Cohen alludes, it could be something as insignificant as a minor color adjustment. Time will tell. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But, I do know Mara. I know him. I just talked to him on the phone. But just listen to him talk. He likes the older stuff. He doesn't like a lot of change and stuff. What the Giants are wearing right now, that little NY, that takes you back, right, to 1961, right, 61 to then they had the 1974, right? So 61, 62, and 63. At least they went to the championships, right? But he likes that. He's not real big on major changes and stuff like that. That's why ever since basically 2000, the Giants have had the little NY on the side of their helmet. They haven't had much of a change since then. They've had the little, the color rush uniforms and stuff like that the Giants wear maybe once or twice during the season or something like that. But that's pretty much about it. So it doesn't seem like Mara is huge on big time change or anything like that. He likes the more historical kind of looks and everything like that. That's why, past couple seasons when the Giants did change uniforms, it was to the back to those glory days, right? Back in the 80s and the 90s or whatever like that, when the Giants went to Super Bowls. And they won Super Bowls, right? The Parcells and Lawrence Taylor and all that and everything, right? So, I'll have to wait and see. I do know it seems like a lot of fans do like, the different style, the different colors and all that stuff and everything. And then we got here, all right, well, you like good old Shane Bowen, right? Giants want to create a new line of scrimmage. New York Giants defense will look different under Shane Bowen than it did under Wink Martindale, but that doesn't mean it will be any less aggressive. Like his predecessor, Bowen is determined to play fast and physical football. The notable change is that he prefers to generate pressure organically as opposed to relying so heavily on exotic blitzes. That's why, one thing, because Bowen has been very good run defense-wise, especially at Tennessee. Very, very good run defense. Wink Martindale, the run defense sometimes has been absolutely atrocious, right? So that's putting a premium on the defensive line, maybe in this draft, right? Maybe drafting even drafting another edge rusher early on, 3rd round, somewhere around there, somebody to help, right? So, and also, if you get somebody grabbing another edge rusher or something like that, what I was hearing today, possibly maybe makes some sense, right? If you put Sexy Dexy in the middle, and you draft an edge rusher, or you put Azeez Ojulari in there, you put, I'm saying on 3rd down, right? You got Kayvon Thibodeau in there, you got Brian Burns in there, you got Azeez Ojulari in there, and you got Dexter Lawrence in there. Those would be your 4 guys. If it's like a 3rd down, passing down, right? But some of the maybe not so much Sexy Dexy, but one of those other 3 guys, it can maybe, he's not so much just the 4 guys, right? But he might send 3 of those guys, drop one of them in coverage, and bring, say, a safety or something like that, right? A lot of what he does is not like kind of like a numbers game. So like with Wink, he would just try to overwhelm the other, send a lot of guys. Therefore, obviously, having guys in the secondary have to be forced to play man on man, because when you send in a lot of guys. But Bowen likes, get his pressure too, right? But he likes to get his pressure a lot from the guys in the front, right? But we also do know that Bowen is very good, or at least, what's very important to him is also stopping the run. Very, very important. I want to paralyze them before the ball is even snapped by overthinking. I don't want to paralyze the players. He wants them keep things kind of simple. Regardless of scheme, everybody's going to have a scheme. We're going to have plenty of scheme, but I want to make sure our guys are lined up. They know what to do, and they can play fast and aggressively. I want to maximize their abilities. He does not want them out there overthinking. Each guy on the field has been given God-given talents, and he wants them to be able to, use them to the best of their abilities without them overthinking. Because you start if you're doing too much thinking out there, right? Even a split second, you're overthinking, or you're thinking this or that. The guy could be running past you. If you're supposed to be covering somebody, you're supposed to be filling a hole or this or that or whatever. You're doing too much thinking, right? That can kill you. And he says, I don't want to paralyze them before the ball is even snapped. They're all here for a reason. God has blessed them with the skill set to be here. I want to make sure we can maximize that skill set, and they're able to maximize that skill set. But hopefully it will be fast, aggressive. You'll see some violence from us, and ultimately guys making plays. Instead of relying on the secondary to get after the quarterback, Bowen intends to rely on their coverage ability to help the front seven. It then becomes the job of those guys up front to create a new line of scrimmage. Another key component of Bowen's style is a solid run defense. The cornerbacks and safeties will be relied upon to make key tackles, sometimes in the open field, something the Giants struggled with the season ago. That's something they're going to have to, they're certainly going to have to clean that up a little bit. To me, I think it starts with play style, demeanor, what we want to be defensively. You think run game, you think physicality, you think toughness, and that's what we want to be at all levels. It's great to stop the run, but you better be able to affect the quarterback just the same, Bowen said. So finding that balance and just having the attacking mentality where we're getting off the ball, trying to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and then in that regard, if it is a pass, you're already on your way. You've got guys at the second level, at the third level, who can make those guys up front right a lot of times in the run game. We're going to let those guys go, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more aggressive, attacking and creating new line of scrimmage and guys fitting off of them. This approach should help the Giants increase their pass rush productivity by a significant margin, but the secondary, specifically the cornerbacks, will have to play much better in coverage than they did a year ago. But it's going to be a little bit different without question, between what Wink had, obviously, and what Bowen had. Wink was like, pressure bust pipes and all of that, sending pressure. That causes mistakes. Absolutely. But with Bowen, he'll probably more rely on just like 4, maybe 5 guys to get pressure. It's kind of like what I kind of heard was like, you get off the line and you're rushing the quarterback, and as you're rushing, if it happens to be a run play, you stop the run while you're trying to get to the quarterback. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. But we do know that Bowen did a very good job in Tennessee with his run defense. It was very, very good. And when they get down in the red zone, they tighten up. Maybe they've not done a phenomenal job from the 20s to the 20s, okay? But with Bowen's defense, they did a good job stopping the run, without question. And once they get down into the red zone, the defense really tightens up very well too. So we'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously the Giants really need a cornerback. If they could draft another edge rusher, can't have too many edge rushers, right? Because you don't know what Azeez Ojulari last season kind of looked almost like a shell of himself. He was not impressive at all. This could be his last season as well with the Giants, right? But I mean, if you draft another edge rusher, can't have too many edge rushers. Somebody, a nice defensive lineman to put next to Sexy Dexy and a cornerback, and you're not exactly sure what they're kind of thinking as far as the safety play. I mean, sure, they can certainly maybe grab themselves another safety too as well. But as I said, between this season and next season, let's see what we wind up coming up with. And as far as filling all the Giants or most of the Giants' holes, we got a lot of holes. We need to fill them up. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 4 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.